Welcome to the Patrick Real Estate Show, where we explore the fascinating world of real estate investing with your host, Patrick Switek. Patrick is a dynamic young entrepreneur and an accomplished real estate investor who's passionate about helping others achieve financial freedom. Each week, we sit down with some of the most inspiring individuals in the real estate industry and delve into their personal journeys, lessons learned, and secrets to their success. Let's dive into this week's episode.
My man Cole, welcome to the Patrick Real Estate Show. For the people that don't know, Cole Rubin is the CEO and founder of Host AI, which is an AI auto messaging platform. It does more than just guest messaging. It does all sorts of messaging. It's a CRM. It's all-inclusive product. It's amazing. I actually beta tested it. I'm just waiting for the Hostfully integration, which they're working on actively before I get on board. But it's been awesome working with him on the product. I've seen him demo it. It's been incredible. I just wanted to bring him on the show to talk all things AI messaging, the future of short-term rentals, and get to know Cole a little bit more. But Cole has a background in managing his own properties. He's done around 30 short-term rental deals to this day, either developing or flipping, or even buy and hold and just stir, if that's even a word. So Cole's been in this industry for a while. He saw the need for the product. He got into YC. He built the product. He's back and flourishing better than ever. But without further ado, let's just welcome Cole to the pod.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Patrick. Excited to be here. I know we've been talking about this for a while. Super excited to talk to you, like super tech forward dude, running a serious management company in the same market I was doing deals in. So happy to talk about Joshua Tree if we want to get into that as well.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing that we have in common is we met through, he's doing a lot of developments in Joshua Tree. And of course, like our portfolio is in Joshua Tree. So that's how we crossed paths. But I feel like we've gotten to know each other a lot better. We became good friends, and it's been awesome just seeing your growth with everything you're doing, man. We're both young hustlers, and so that's what we have in common. You're, what, 26 now? 26? 26, almost.
25 for a
Let's
few more
get
months. Yeah, 26 next year. Yep.
Dang, let's get it. Without further ado, man, how did you even get into this space? Like, what were you doing? What was Cole doing before he even got into short-term rentals?
So started off, just always been like entrepreneurial person, drop shipping stuff in high school, reselling stuff on eBay. In college, really found my groove in real estate, had some internships doing loan underwriting. So I was seeing like how these flippers were getting their deals funded. And I was like, oh, like it's really like the asset that's qualifying for them, qualifying them for the deal. Like they don't have these crazy bank accounts. Like I could see how you could go flip a house with not a ridiculous money in the bank. Flash forward, COVID, was looking to go somewhere like local with my friends. I was at school at Chapman University in Orange County. We wanted to drive up to Joshua Tree for a weekend. I was like looking at the price. I'm like, this is like really expensive for a weekend. And I know these houses out here can't be that expensive. Look on Zillow, did like quick back of the napkin math. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Then for a year of thinking about it, finally pulled the trigger on my first deal. Like the plan was like, I graduate college, I have my 1 year Airbnb, I get a job, and this is like my passive income. It turned into being like an accidentally super lucrative flip deal. I flipped it, had some money, had some resources to go do 3 more deals, did those 3, did well, crushed it, kept snowballing. Eventually got to the point where I quit the job I had out of college. I was an analyst for a private equity group buying apartment buildings. Quit that. Went full-time on Equity Group, was my development management company, did 31 deals, and then saw I wanted to do something that had like potential to go bigger, was infinitely scalable, not so capital constrained, not so cyclical with the market. I met my co-founder Pun, and we started hacking together on Host AI, applied to YC, got in, and it's just taken off from there, and we're working on it day in, day out, trying to build a massive software company.
That's awesome, man. I think one of the most notable deals that you've done was the Juniper deal. And I bring that deal up because it was a record-breaking deal in the Joshua Tree market. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I bought that piece of land for, I think it was 42,000 off market with the proceeds I made from my first deal. Took about a year of planning, permitting to get it ready to build. Built it in about 10 months. The plan was keep it as STR. That was going to be like my baby. It was like a beautiful house, 4 bedroom, all with ensuite bathrooms, all opening up to this infinity pool that like spilled over into this pickleball court that tiered down. Beautiful house, great location. Justin, my buddy, let's throw this on the market, see what happens. We listed at like a crazy number. And I think it was like the first day on the market, someone's like, I want to look at it. Because if gives me an offer I can't say no to. At the time, it was like highest price sale for Joshua Tree. Flipped it, and then that was like actually like the first weekend I stayed in that house with my friends was the day I got into YC. Like all just fell into place. Finished this house, flipped it, got it off my plate, record breaking number, moved to San Francisco, start YC, and just focus on Host AI now.
Yeah. And I think that was a pivotal moment, I think, in your journey because you made really good money on that deal. And I think that kind of propelled you into this world of, hey, you know what? I'm closing this chapter of my book and I'm opening up this new chapter. And I think from the conversation that I've had with you, and one key detail that I don't think you really mentioned is the fact that you did self-manage a lot of your properties. And you were thinking to yourself, there has to be a better way to message guests than having to constantly be on call. And AI was coming on the scene. And you were talking about how you can actually utilize AI to be able to fully take that off your plate. Like overnight, for example, who's going to message the guests if they need to enter the house or whatever? The county call, if you don't answer within 30 minutes of the county, who's going to do that? So it's like thinking about, oh, somebody else can do this for me without having it to be a VA, without having to pay somebody for the whole overnight shift. You could just have AI respond for that specific time. That's just such an interesting concept. But anyways, so cool. You did the deal, you closed it. Now you're building this product. You got into YC. At the time when you got into YC, you already had revenue at that time. So how did you even start getting interest from people to utilize your product, like when you first got started?
So out of the gates, it was just network. Like we did like first integration with Hostway. So texting people I know use Hostway, try this out. A lot of pestering. Like admittedly at the time, like the product was like miles behind where it's at today. But back then it was really just like a bot to respond to messages. It's evolved to this whole platform now. You can manage your sales leads, homeowner conversations, cleaners, maintenance, this like internal knowledge base that knows everything about your company if it's like an internal tool. And this is the brain for the AI. But yeah, really just started out something basic, had some revenue when we got into YC, found the initial people just like doing things that don't scale, like looking up websites using Hostway, finding the owner on LinkedIn, sending them email message, just try to get them to use it, give us feedback, and then iterate from there. So just really just like to get those first people is just like searching like under the couch cushions for them.
That's great. And I think you did mention you went to VRMA too. And that was like instrumental for finding other big operators that could utilize it because it gets pretty hectic once you get into the big leagues and you have a lot of properties. Can you maybe talk about, maybe from a product standpoint, how does AI messaging work? Maybe you can talk about, do you like always have to have it on? Is there a way to approve? Can you maybe talk more about that aspect of things?
So with Host AI, it's totally up to the operator how automated or unautomated they want Host AI to be. So right when you connect your PMS, it's going to be on Copilot mode. Copilot mode, we just auto draft a response to every message, and it's up to you if you want to approve it. Taking it from there, we automatically build out this knowledge base, but we want to get your knowledge score up to like around 60%. And then once your knowledge score is at 60%, we're like, okay, like this knows enough of the basics. Let's turn on the autopilot. And when the autopilot's on, it responds to everything it knows. If it doesn't know an answer with 100% confidence, we're going to push it back to you. We're going to have a draft approved. We're going to have a message drafted. We're not going to send it until you approve it if we're not 100% confident in the answer. And there's part two to the autopilot, which is conversation tags. So there could be some instances where we know with 100% certainty the answer, but we don't want to necessarily send it because it's a sensitive situation. Like maybe there's an emergency, the guest is unhappy, they want a refund, or they're locked out. We want to flag these instances with a specific tag. So for example, like access issue. You get a notification, hey, this guest is having an access issue. We've pre-drafted the message, but we haven't sent it yet because this is like a sensitive situation. Other use cases for this tagging could be like pool heating. Like it's not necessarily urgent, but you want to be tagged with it so you can filter out, see all your pool heating requests and update the pool accordingly. Just because the AI is not at a point yet, I'd say within less than 60 months it will be, where it can't actually go heat the pool for you. If there was like an API we could connect to where this happened, triggers this workflow, we could do it. But today we just like filter it, give you the insights that certain tags are hitting. You can filter out and carry through the actions you need to take as the manager.
Wow. I think that's what's interesting. You're already alluding to it, but the capability of AI to eventually get to the point where it can do these menial tasks that, like, let's say, not to replace VAs per se, but to really automate a lot of the processes like pool heating. But also it could be like creating breezeway tasks or things of that nature to start creating a workflow. Because I think what's interesting about this space, and I think you've realized that too, and how you're pivoting your product, is as a short-term rental operator, you're getting inquiries all the time. There's so much communication going on. There's the owners are communicating with you. Sometimes there's multiple owners. There are the stakeholders in terms of the vendors. You have the guests. You have, if you have 100 properties, now multiply that. And then you have just like all these other, like the county and everybody. There's just so many people that you have to communicate to. And then you have to communicate with your own team. And because all this communication is happening, there's no like concrete way to organize that communication. We do it through Slack right now, which is great in a lot of capacities. But what's interesting is like communication is the first part, right? And then the second part is, okay, cool. Now, every communication point has a assigned, either it's a one-way thing, but there's a lot of communication that becomes a task, right? For example, a pool needs to be heated. That's a task. Hey, there's an issue with the drywall at this property. That's a task, maybe from a cleaner. Let's say the inspector comes in, the toilet's broken. That's a task. A plumber completes a task and they message you. That's a completion of a task, right? So there's all these different aspects that happen, and there's no concrete way to organize those tasks and then assign them to the right people. So right now, the best way to do that is like Monday.com maybe, or a spreadsheet. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that kind of space?
Yeah. So the managers have a lot of different stakeholders to manage outside just the guest person type, which is largely like the only conversations that are managed through other like AI inboxes, other PMS inboxes, is just the guests. But now there's the homeowners, there's the cleaners, the maintenance people, there's the sales. Like you got to acquire more homeowners to scale the company, manage all these conversations. Like previously, all these different stakeholder conversations were managed in different apps. So you have like your guests in your PMS, your homeowners in maybe like a shared email account, your sales leads in this HubSpot CRM, and then your maintenance you track in ClickUp. We have a very flexible data model where you can bring all those conversations into Host AI through different inboxes. So you have your guest inbox, your homeowner inbox, your cleaner inbox, and whoever manages those people just gets access to those specific inboxes where you can carry out all the communications across every channel: text, phone call, WhatsApp, email, the chat widget on your website. Everything funnels into the right person, and the necessary team member on the manager team has access. So for example, like for Stays You Like, you could have your guest inbox that only all your support agents are in. You could have your homeowner inbox that like you and your account managers are in, and then you just have like your maintenance inbox, your contractor inbox that just your maintenance manager and maybe you guys are in. And there's other apps you guys still have to use. We know we can't own the whole system, so we just want to make it convenient to trigger workflows in other apps from our inbox sidebar. So like issue comes up with a cleaner, we need to make a maintenance ticket, click create a task, make the task, and we shoot that to Breezeway, ClickUp, whatever external task manager you're using. We just support. We push data into, so it's there and you're not having to like copy paste, open a new app, put it in. It just shoots into where you need it. And then another comment with with Slack, a lot of times like issue comes up, copy that guest name, copy the issue, this property, send it to a specific Slack channel. Hey team, what do we do here? With Host AI, you just go to the notes section, tag the team member you need to talk to, triage the issue in the notes, and take it from there. It stays all in one app.
Yeah. And that's the centralization of that is huge. And I think maybe allude to the fact, what are you trying to really create with HostCI? Like what's really the vision here? And I know that kind of was a recent development more or less, and this is a product that's probably evolving a lot. And even by the time that I post this, it's November 21st today, but by the time I post it and by the time that people even watch this, the product is probably going to evolve. But I'm assuming there's a core mission here that you're trying to achieve. What is that core mission?
Mhm. So, core mission we're trying to solve is we found that enterprise property managers across all asset classes, short-term rentals, apartment buildings, hotels, are using incumbent support platforms that do not serve the real estate industry very well. So, like Salesforce, Intercom, Zendesk, Front. Real estate is like one of the largest industries they all serve, but none of them do it very well because they don't have the bespoke integrations to serve these people. Like they don't have access to the OTAs, the PMSs, the CRMs that all their leads are in. They just display inbound conversation, and it's up to them to hire like an internal CTO to map it all to the guests, so you have that context on the sidebar. So where we're positioning ourselves as is the support and engagement platform for the built world. So you'll manage all your stakeholders, all your conversations, all your relationships for property management through HostAI.
Got it. So it's going to be essentially a support platform at the end of the day, but AI is the support. It seems that you guys aren't really as focused. What I like about, and coming from a background, let me backtrack. Coming from a background of tech, right? I found myself building an augmented reality product, and I built a product and found a solution for it. You see what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Where I built, okay, this is cool technology. Where can we apply it to? And yes, there's a problem there, but it wasn't as strong of a problem. Versus, I think what you're doing, which is interesting, is yes, it was stemmed from AI, but at the end of the day, you're using AI as a tool to solve the core problem, which is support, at a centralized support at a bigger scale for real estate investors or real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting because it's like the people that focus on the AI and just like work off of the AI versus focus on solving the actual problem is it's a different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do like that aspect of things. Now let's talk about AI in general. Let's dive into that because it serves a purpose to enhance communication, but it's a tool, right? So can you talk a little bit about how accurate AI has been? How has the growth been? Where does it pull the information from? How do you like put it together where it knows what it knows? Maybe can you simplify that a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the AI is only as good as the information it knows. So like some of the information we can find on the internet, like we have your property address, guest asked, how far is the closest grocery store? That's something we can figure out. But if the guest says, hey, where is the cutting board in the kitchen? If you've never told us, that's not something we could accurately respond to. We're going to flag that as we don't know this, we don't have enough info to answer this. We're going to try to answer, like we come up with an assumption of where it could be, but we're never going to auto send that unless the manager approves it. And then when they do approve it or they edit the response, we're going to learn from that. We're going to extrapolate like the knowledge they sent in that message out until the cutting board is in the second kitchen, the second cupboard on the right below the sink, and be like, add to knowledge base. So as you respond to more, we uncover more knowledge, pull it out, and they just come into these suggested knowledge cards. Then maybe every week you click through, add the relevant findings to your knowledge base, and this knowledge base grows over time, learns more, automates more. The AI gets smarter basically from that. And then to create the knowledge base,
Yeah.
you take all the like information from your PMS, and then you can upload external documents. So if you have a master CSV of all your properties, you have a guidebook, you have a Notion page, whatever data it is, you dump into HostAI, we map it all, add it to the knowledge base, and you're good to go from there.
Do you have some problems that maybe people face with AI? Is there anything that needs a little bit more growth in the space in general? Because you guys, I'm assuming you guys use pretty much the same AI as anybody else pretty much has access to. But what special touch do you guys put on top of that that makes it easier for people to utilize the tool?
There's tons of experiments we're doing on top of these general frontier models. I'd say the biggest thing we're doing is like when a message comes in, we're like classifying the message. What is this? Okay, like it's a availability question. This is the route this message flows
Mhm.
down. Or is this message urgent? Okay, this is like an access issue. Like we tag it, push down this way. So like it's a lot of, it's not just using AI to come up with the answer. It's using AI to classify the message and send it down the right path so it gets an accurate response.
Got it. So that's the back end work that you do to make that process a lot more simplified. So that's the difference than just, hey, I can just go on ChatGPT on the sidebar and then figure it out. But at the same time, what you're saying is that processing of these different requests and using that data, that's your special sauce. Now, granted, okay, what do you see in the future of AI? Like, how do you see that evolving? What do you suspect is going to happen with that technology?
Yes. So the workflows that these AI agents will be able to execute on are just going to become a lot more complex. And that's why we've like really doubled down on building the interface that this agent lives in. Like without us owning the full inbox infrastructure, we're at the mercy of someone else's platform. Like we're only able to control like what we get access to within an API, where if they're using our ecosystem, we have full control of the platform. What this looks like in the future is within Host AI, you'll just have different types of agents. Like you'll have your customer support agent, you'll have your sales agent, your task agent, and you just build workflows where these agents talk to each other within the Host AI box. Over time, the UI is just like across all apps, it's just going to get more abstracted away, and it's not going to be like these beautiful, like intricate interfaces like Salesforce. It's just going to be chat. You just chat with your data, find what you need, and you build workflows. Like when this happens with the support agent, you talk to the task agent and execute this workflow. Just over time, as like
Wow.
we
So
get
you're
to
going to have
AGI.
you're going to have, oh, sorry. I was just going to say, you're going to have AI. The role is going to be you just prompt the AI. That's basically the role of the human in this case.
Yeah, the role of the human, like the AI has access to like all your data, all your platforms, all your channels, OTAs, and you just build workflows that the agents execute on and work like the box or the playground that these agents live in. And this
Cool.
is like a
So
post
that's,
AGI world.
yeah. Okay. Dang. Okay, that's exciting. Cool. Just want to know, Cole, with the platform that you're building and the support and everything that you have going on, where are your focus points like in your life and in the product? Like where are you trying to improve or grow within what you currently have?
So I would say the biggest things are going to be around the phone product. Like phone is largely siloed in other apps right now, and phone is generally tied to text messaging. Like you want to be doing those on the same number. You don't want to be like text me on this one, call me on this one, and then WhatsApp me on this one. We want to have one number that you can call, text, WhatsApp on. And to do that, we need to have the platform. So phone and voice AI is something we're really doubling down on at the end of this year, early next year, as well as a CRM. So like CRM is built out on the back end, like we're mapping all these people to a specific person object and you're managing all the conversations. But for like the sales inbox, where there's different stages within that inbox, like lead, nurturing, onboarding, closed, we want to have the interface to control all those actions, move the person down the funnel, and even like with scheduled messages, like build sales like B2B SaaS style nurturing drip campaigns for your homeowners based on a certain status in the CRM. So after you just talk to this homeowner, they move into like into the nurture sequence, and they're getting like an email once a week about like how Stacey like is the best manager in Joshua Tree, crushes the competition. Maybe you're sending them some case studies if you couldn't close the deal on the phone call. Then over time, this like lead is more receptive to convert because you've been nurturing them for the last few weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to challenge you on that point. Okay. For devil's advocate on that, do you think that is deferring or going away from the core product that you're offering, which is the support or that aspect of things? Or do you think that is an essential part of that process?
Yeah, I would say that sales, like nurturing a sales lead, is just a
Mhm.
form of support and
Yeah,
engagement.
got it. So you're saying that's like the first, from an owner perspective, that's the first touch point that they have with the company, right? That's the first time they actually have an interaction with the company.
Hmm.
And the first impression is everything. And so the speed that you can get back to that lead is going to be huge in being able to convert it and show that you know what you're talking about. And that's a representation of how you're going to respond to guests, right?
Hmm.
That's what you're getting at.
Yeah, like you can't do
Got it.
sales without communicating to another person. We want to be the platform that you communicate to all your sales leads through.
Got it. Cool, man. And I do want to get into the last three questions for you, man. And we'll wrap this up here. The first question I have for you is, what educational resource or book really helped shape your life? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be real estate related.
I think most helpful person I listen to is probably honestly Alex Hormozy. A lot of the Paul Graham essays on my education. I think learning how to use Excel in business is like the most underrated thing ever. Taking that class in college, honestly, that's probably the only class I had to take in college that like I used something that I took away from. Books, I haven't been reading too much lately, but a lot of the Alex Hormozy videos and Paul Graham essays would be like my go-tos right now.
Awesome. And what does that focus on usually? It's like business stuff, right? Getting to, from a business perspective, how to grow and scale.
Yeah, like I think Paul Graham and Hormozy do like a good job of talking from a really high level. Like just like you got a couple things to focus on. Don't try to like you got to 1 million in revenue. Like don't try to go like start some new side hustle or side product that you try to go to 100K. It'd probably be a lot easier if you like spent all those resources you would to start this 100K side hustle on getting your $1 million business to 3 million. And like you're gonna make a
Got it.
lot more money
Like
just staying focused on one thing.
the marginal, yeah, the marginal cost of, cool. And then second question is, in a world where, let's say that you couldn't do an AI product and you had to start over and you had to build a software company, what would you do?
I do a neobank for real estate. I think
Okay, explain.
like managing like all the accounts for real estate is like very fragmented. The way you like send money to different contractors, stakeholders, I think could be improved. I think like these bank accounts could like actually connect to the PMSs or ERPs that like your business is running on, and like those items in there could like automatically categorize the banking ledger. I just think there's a lot of opportunity on the real estate banking side. There's company Baseline out there, but I don't think they're
Hmm.
doing it very well. They're very focused on like the consumer side of real estate. No one's doing like enterprise real estate banking too well, in my opinion.
Got it. That's sick. And then last question. You did mention what the future holds more or less for Host AI, but I wanted
Hmm.
to give you another opportunity just to elaborate. So, Cole, what does the future hold for you and or Host AI? Let's just elaborate more. I know we talked a little bit about it, but I just want you to dive a little bit deeper if that's okay.
Hmm. Yeah, future for Cole is I'm living in San Francisco full time now. Hostia is moving to a new office in 3 weeks in Financial District. Raise some money. We're going to be hiring a lot more engineers, start building out the sales team. So future of Cole is scaling Host AI in San Francisco. And the future of Host AI is being that de facto support engagement CRM platform for the built world for all of real estate. There's no de facto support platform yet, and it's the largest asset class in the world. There's tons of support platforms for B2B software, e-commerce, things like that, more digital based businesses, nothing for the built world. So that's going to be our focus for the foreseeable future.
Awesome, man. Well, Cole, thanks so much for hopping on, talking the game, speaking about the AI industry as a whole. I appreciate you, man.
Of
And
course.
yeah, hopefully you have an awesome day, man.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for having me. and we'll talk soon.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to the Patrick Real Estate Show. If you found this episode helpful, please give us a follow and leave us a 5-star review. Your support truly means a lot. And connect with Patrick in the show notes below. Until next time.